Perhaps I spoke too soon. Hey, welcome back, guys. Now, I know what I said regarding the uneven nature of P-Valley's second season and my subsequent abandonment of it. However, that was before they dropped arguably their most compelling episode to date, an episode that, though not without its problems, resurged the narrative in a major way, with Keyshawn as its focal point. In this video, we'll be analyzing the episode in full and separating the good from the bad and the ugly. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things P-Valley. Here we go. The 5th chapter in the Valley's second season details the origins of Clifford's fallen star, Keyshawn. Narrated by the unofficial mayor of Chucalissa himself, the story follows Keyshawn's past life and parallels it to her current one. Told in the context of Cinderella, the tale serves as an explanation for Keyshawn's refusal to abandon her current traumas by fully diving into their creation. Beginning in high school, our Missipperella can be seen struggling to fit into her social environment. That is, of course, until she meets her first and literal white knight in shining armor, Derek. Derek offers Keyshawn a mixture of desire, security, and comfort, the very things the unsure girl lacks in her coming of age. This is mostly fueled by her family life, which is creatively told in fairy tale fashion, complete with the wicked stepmother and 2 overly coddled stepsisters. The trio is a barrier between Miss Missipperella and her father, who I'ma get on in just a minute. Her family only serves to bolster her insecurities, while Derek's influence on her life initially eradicates them, or so it would seem. The dream of having a white knight gradually turns nightmarish as Derek's spells of anger would seep into their relationship after impregnating Key following the school dance. This domestic occurrence would be the first, but certainly not the last violent outbreak, leaving Key with nowhere to go after being denied re-entry into her family's fold. Thus, the hustler disposition she maintains in the present is her only semblance of liberation, a way out from under the abyss of anyone's charity or good faith, shackled with carnal stipulations. Independence all the way. It's not a coincidence that this story was told over the 4th of July holiday weekend, as independence is the theme. It's what keeps Keyshawn in and out of clubs, a staple on social media, accepting of incentivized brand deals, and most importantly, capitulating to the overlords of her life, the desire for independence. Those overlords play a pivotal role in Keyshawn's past and present life, and her decisions regarding both. On one end of that toxic spectrum, there's Derek. He's the ball and chain to her past and father to her kids, who was outcast from his racist family from essentially being a nigger lover. On the other end, however, is her now late business partner turned victimizer, Rome, who literally held the keys to her future over her head and paid the iron price for it in the end, courtesy of Rudy. Shout out Rudy. Anyone with sense held mistrust for Rome from the very beginning. His aim was always to objectify Keyshawn and exploit her body for profit, while getting a few claps in for himself in the process, at least in his mind. While Rome sought to control Keyshawn through profit, Derek implemented the only joker remaining in his deck: violence. His savagery isn't simply reserved for her, but anyone in his rage-filled path apparently, as he's now begun beating their young son in her absence. His nature emanates from the innate weakness born from being unable to provide, while Rome's was inspired by all the things he could provide. These dichotomous white knights were parallel to perfection in order to thoroughly drive home Keyshawn's story and the rationale behind her decisions, both agreeable and reprehensible. And that's about where the good ends. Let's talk about the bad. P-Valley just wouldn't be P-Valley without some very over-the-top scenes, and here, her wicked stepmother takes the cake with her creative delivery. The nastiness in her tone and general disposition towards Keyshawn are meant to convey a Disney-style reimagining, minus the watercolors, but her mood swings are contrived at worst and Tyler Perry status at best. Teak and Murder round out the remaining bad in this episode. Though thoroughly underused due to the focus on Key, their small appearances still didn't fail to underwhelm, especially in the case of Teak, who's been blown, no pun intended, by Murder's lack of care and consideration towards him, along with Rome's denigrations and disregard for the struggling ex-con. Additionally, the scene where the black football players ostracized Keyshawn, only to be disposed of by her literal white knight, wasn't believable in the slightest. Y'all may disagree, but it's tough for me to accept that those brothers would come at a stunner such as Keyshawn in that way. And from where this commentator is sitting, it was merely a ploy to drive home the ugly duckling turned swan narrative that the writers were shooting for. And finally, Jocelyn Hernandez's role as Keyshawn's fairy godmother in theory was hilariously trash. Just writing about it makes me laugh a little bit. Though she did deliver Key some good game, which was arguably ambiguous. If Key had truly taken her words to heart, she likely would have capitulated to Rome's advances, prior to them becoming assault-worthy, of course. Don't get me wrong, because in the end, I'm a hoe anyway, right? Right, Jocelyn? And now for the ugly. Keyshawn's daddy runs neck and neck with Rome for the Despicable Nigga of the Week award for his alluded lust towards his stepdaughter, Alicia. That type of shit occurs more often than not, and it's something, though hard to stomach, was warranted for this depiction. Derek's psychopathic episodes have left us wondering why Keyshawn remains with him throughout P-Valley's existence, but this week was particularly traumatizing. The chokeout on the couch was a tough watch, especially considering that she was pregnant with their first child. That deprivation of oxygen ultimately affects the child and could have caused more damage than intended. Piggybacking on this past event was his present mutilation of his son's arm and back, unloading the frustration on his seed that he couldn't on Keyshawn due to her tour. Their subsequent fight upon Key's return from the doctor was nothing short of evil, as we witnessed Derek not only punch the mother of his children in the face, but threaten that same mug with permanent disfigurement courtesy of a blazing iron. Such a maneuver would have effectively ended Keyshawn's carnal career, which is what that monster wants anyway. Crazier than all of this is Key's protracted unwillingness to leave this man, even in the face of her children's safety being threatened. They showed us her past for a reason, and though it's consistent with the narrative for her to stay, it's still unforgivable at this point. But maybe the next episode will bring a change in this regard. Rome's attack on Keyshawn was another tough watch, and one that anyone with eyes saw coming. Her escape from that situation while leaving the glass slipper was a nice touch by the writers. It represented the abandonment of false dreams and desires, as the reality of perversion came crashing down in the sickest of fashion. And finally, though Rome deserved his morbid fate, it was wild watching him dwindle before our eyes, courtesy of Rudy. Shout out Rudy. Rudy accompanying Rome as the angel of death was more than fitting, as his occupation demands comfort with the other side. Plus, he was motivated by Rome's desecration of Keyshawn's womanhood, blackmail video against murder, and his general dislike for the perverted mogul. He had to go. And Rudy was the perfect executioner in one of the episode's ugliest scenes. And that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on P-Valley's fifth offering? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are fans of P-Valley, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.